Hey there, Nick.
Hey Danielle.
How's it going?
Pretty good. This looks like Bomberman.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Bomberman. This is Brawl for the PS4, and it is a grimdark Bomberman.
It is.
Basically.
That's a good way of putting it. This is out now. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it just came out a couple days ago, I think. It is by Bloober Team.
Mm-hmm.
They're a Polish, I think, developer.
I think so. Yeah.
And they made, believe it or not, a game that looks a lot like this at the PS4 launch called Basement Crawl, which was it was not very good.
Did you reviewed it, right?
I did. I reviewed it, and it got a 2.
Damn.
Not because it was a bad concept or anything like that. It just was kind of broken.
Yeah.
It just kind of wasn't ready. I think it needed some more time in the oven. So Bloober Team kind of went back. They took the concept. They took a lot of the art. And they really kind of fleshed it out. So Basement Crawl was sort of a very basic, it was almost like a prototype for this. They just sort of had a multiplayer Bomberman thing going on, just like you're seeing here, where basically you're a character, it's a sort of a 4-player couch co-op kind of game.
Yeah.
And you're sort of dropping bombs, you're trying to kill the other people, and it's sort of this sort of puzzle grid layout, that sort of thing. So the original game just had that, but this game has, sort of much more fleshed out. It has different modes. It works. It's not broken.
So
it's kind of
a
proof of the concept.
Right.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, we played this with the developers in the office.
Yes.
And one thing that they pointed, like the whole premise of this game, the way they pitch it is that it's like Bomberman, but almost with MOBA elements. So characters have a couple of skills and then like a super, or they have like a skill, a super, and then an ultra ability, right? An ultimate.
Yes.
Was that present in the original game in Basement Crawl, or was that just straight up Bomberman?
I mean, everybody kind of had their own little special move. I don't remember if they had ultras. Like I couldn't even. That game was kind of incomprehensibly
right.
And
not
finished.
Talking to them about it, they were
yeah.
they were pretty candid about like. They said straight up, hey, that game, we wanted to have a game out at launch on the PS4 because there were no games out at launch on the PS4. And, I mean, I appreciate their honesty about that, at least.
Yeah, they were super upfront about it. Yeah, definitely.
And I think this game is I never played Basement Crawl, but this is a pretty serviceable, Super Bomberman clone. Like, the characters all have pretty distinct abilities. There's we started out playing with that clown dude who you see in the upper right there, who's got kind of the equivalent of the bomb kick ability from Bomberman, where you can just kind of shove a bomb down an alley.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sneeze sort of thing. Oh, this, just so we keep it up here, this is another mode called Sumo, where the entire point is to knock people off of the playing field, basically. And these little boxing gloves come out of your bombs that sort of shove people off the ledge here.
Oh, right,
Which I actually really love the different modes in this game. So, the sort of vanilla mode is really fun and obviously has quite a bit of depth to it. But I actually really enjoyed some of these other sort of wackier modes almost a little bit more just because they sort of played the formula a little bit. And I really dug that, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of, I don't know, I've always enjoyed that core Bomberman gameplay. I have really fond memories of Bomberman Generations on the GameCube, not because it was a good single-player game, but because multiplayer, it was just... It's one of the best. I don't know, something about the core Bomberman multiplayer loop of you start out with nothing and you slowly grind up bigger bombs and more bombs. Like that works for me. And the MOBA stuff
absolutely.
I think seems fine too. I guess. I remember some of the characters being pretty interesting. Right, like there's that one who played really differently from a standard Bomberman character. They had like some sort of
a warp
thing. Yeah,
the warp one. Yeah.
They would throw. And a thing at an opponent and would be able to switch places with them. So what you could do is you could trap yourself, surround yourself with your own bombs, then swap places with the opponent to have them be trapped, which is kind of clever.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think they really kind of spent time thinking about, hey, how can we actually add to this core loop and intelligently, and things actually felt very balanced, I felt. Playing as, I tried kind of every different character, and not that I was good enough to really execute any of the sort of higher level strategies or anything like that, but it felt balanced, and the developers were playing with every different character to sort of show it off for us and everything. There's kind of like a tank character, there's that character who can kind of warp, the clown is almost sort of the starter character, so there's kind of a lot going on there. This is the paint mode, sort of like a little paintball mode, where the idea is to explode as many of your bombs as possible to dominate the map with your color, basically.
So it's sort of a Splatoon or what was that Tony Hawk mode where you would have to skate on things to change their color?
Oh yeah. I don't remember the name of it, but I totally remember.
Like
yeah, it was something like that. It was pretty cool. I appreciate how many different modes are in this game. That it kind of suits the party atmosphere that I think they're going for. They want this to be a good party game, I think.
Right.
So,
and
yeah, and sort of. Oh, go ahead.
Just based on the hour we spent with it, I found this multiplayer stuff a lot more compelling than the single player stuff. Which is just fundamentally pretty different. I think also one of the coolest things about this is that they negotiated a deal with Sony where anybody who bought Basement Crawl gets a free copy of Brawl as a sort of make-good apology for that game.
Yes, I was going to mention that too, that I think that is really kind of big of them. To be like, you know what, we messed up, here's our real game, the real game is fun, play this instead, you know, basically. Which I think that's pretty awesome, that's cool of them.
For sure. I don't know, I came away from this like... I feel like my main feeling coming away from this is wondering why there hasn't been a new actual Bomberman product in so long, because it seems like like local multiplayer is such a big deal in 2015. Like why have they not? I mean, I guess I don't know. Like Konami is doing weird stuff anyway.
Yeah, I guess it's all down to Konami.
They're kind of
right
busy.
now.
I saw someone point out on Twitter that Bomberman 2006 like gritty reboot the other day.
Oh yes.
So
yes,
maybe
that. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe this is one of those games that is better left in hands that aren't the people who have the license.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. I think that might be what it is. Yeah. Overall, I just feel like this is a fun little Bomberman game.
Yeah.
And, whether the aesthetic kind of does something for you or doesn't, it's very sort of 90s edgy.
Yeah,
like
I'm a little
here.
over the whole, like, twisted metal, evil, clown, dark thing, but it's pretty easy to ignore that when you're just playing Bomberman, you know?
Yeah, the core gameplay itself is solid enough, so thank you so much, Nick, for joining me. This has been Brawl.
Let the battle begin.